Alright guys, so we're up here at the other dozer now. This is the International TD20C, I believe is what this thing is. This one's a little rougher than the other one, but I think it'll make a good machine. It's either had new tracks or it don't have a whole lot of hours, because from what I was seeing online, Casey, these tracks will get real tiny.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know nothing about equipment, but we're learning. The teeth are a little pointy, but they still seem decent. Well guys, so here's what we're doing. There's a hole in the oil pan on this dozer. Someone has cut it though. I'll try to get you a video here in a second. We don't know why. We've worked on this dozer once before trying to get it started. Right back before we bought it. It cranked over and it was about to start, and I was like, we better check oil first, and that's when I realized there was a hole in the oil pan. We don't really know why. So what I'm doing is just putting a little oil in a quart jug, and I'm pouring it down each valve cover and down the gear train, just so we can turn it over a little more. And it's real dangerous, don't get me wrong, but we just want to see if we get it to fire for just a second, and if we do, then I'll crawl under and take the oil pan off, and we'll weld the plate back on it. I don't know why someone cut a hole in the oil pan, but they did. Alright guys, we're going to crank on this thing a little bit, see what happens.
No. You crank it over and then see if it will oil pressure. It's just flat. Yeah, I think that's what we had out there last.
What we got now? Why'd you get down?
Something up there when the battery exploded.
Alright ladies and gentlemen, we're going to see if we can crawl under here. Wish me luck. We'll see if we can get a good look at the oil pan here. Oh God, I dread this.
I think you'll be alright.
Yeah, that's what I'd say too if I wasn't the one crawling under there.
You want to have your can of clean?
Yeah.
Shane? Yep.
Phew. Oh. Well, I don't see anything out of the ordinary other than the fact that it has a massive hole cut in the side of the oil pan. Like, that is literally the only thing I see wrong.
Can you see all the rods and everything?
I can see 6 of them.
Let me bump it over so you can see the other 2.
No. To be completely honest with you, I think maybe it's having trouble building compression because the cylinders are so dry. I've got one cylinder down here that really doesn't look very healthy.
Rusty or scored or both?
Scored. Pretty bad. Oh, okay. I bet you that's the trouble, child. The rod's sooty. We'll see if I can get a better video of it. Yeah. Look at the old girl's skirt here. Lift her dress up. See what I can see.
Can you give me a run from Heather hit me with you have more lawnmower problems than you do truck problems. And I said, shut up.
Alright, so Casey's taking the valve cover off so we can see if he can see anything up top. We're kind of possibly considering that where it ain't got no oil in it, the piston oilers right there aren't squirting. And cylinder walls are dry, so maybe we're losing a little compression. Not enough, I don't think, but just trying to figure out why somebody cut this hole in the pan. We found the piece, but it looks as though it's been broke out.
I bet the U-joint went out.
And they're up there being idiots. They said the ECM was bad. I think they're right.
You see the ECM in the whole pan?
Oh yeah, it's in there.
Come out on the side.
Golly. Huh. So we're gonna take the oil pan off. Casey, we're going to figure out how that oil pan, or the dipstick tube comes out.
The bees got pretty wild about the time you started hammering.
Okay. These back here are being quite the pain. Alright boys, I'll try to shuffle it out there to you. Well, we got the oil pan out. Interesting.
I believe that's it.
Yeah, that's it. I just
But
don't.
what cost?
I don't know. I really don't. Like, it just don't make any sense to
There
me.
ain't no rod hanging out, is there?
No.
What's the chances it'll blew it out right there, though?
I don't know.
Why not throw it the bottom?
Like, and nothing smacked it.
But you blow the bottom out.
Yeah. What was that on that we seen online that they had sprayed a bunch of brake cleaner down in
I've
it?
seen it on a C15.
blew the pan out?
I've seen it on a 60 series Detroit. I think what I saw was a 60 series Detroit. Or it was like a DD13 or 15 or something.
The damn rocker arms and shit.
Inside the motor?
Like, because he was doing an overhead. And yeah, he had just sprayed it down a little bit. You know, it was clean oil. And then afterwards, he got in there to hit the key to make sure it would start before he serviced it. And man, he hit that thing. Dude, it done 15 gallons over right there in the damn gravel lot he was in.
It's on the service truck page.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna get this oil pan fixed up. Bring it back. Put it on. Put some oil in it. But we're gonna get this pan fixed and try something different. All right, guys. So we got the pan bolted back on. We got it welded up, and then we ended up losing some footage. Between batteries dying. I only used to keep one battery with me at a time. I used to carry one SD card. I had no idea how quickly you'd go through batteries and SD cards. But we're getting better with the filming as time goes on here. We've got the Dozer here, and I'm going to walk you guys through what we ran into at the time so that everybody knows what's going on. So we did end up getting the pan welded up. We got it bolted back in place. So we found out that this cable here operates the shutdown, and it was seized up, and that's why it wouldn't start while we had the pan off. So we ended up cutting this cable right here, and then that's when we got the shutdown lever to move. So that's how we ended up getting it to fire up. It fired up like it'd been running all day at that point, but it was just blowing black smoke and would absolutely not take any throttle response from the lever up here. The lever was moving on the pump, but we could not get any response out of it. It would, I think it would kind of idle up just a little bit, but it would not rev up like it should. One thing we tried was, we ended up draining all the fuel out of the tank. We ended up doing new fuel filters, and we thought maybe some fresh diesel would do something for it, but it didn't do anything for it. You already filled the tank, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I see
I think it's siphoning it. Man, it's coming out quick too, Bo. Dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. Does anybody have a rag?
I put what was left in that bucket into there.
We fired it back up, and unfortunately it still wouldn't rev, just black smoke's all it would do. Even at idle, it's just black smoking all the time. And the intake was completely disassembled from it, so it seemed like it was some kind of lack of fueling issue. We thought maybe it was a rack issue. All right, guys, back out here at the Dozer today. Here, let me try them.
I bet they'll almost fit on here. Because them some bitches are here.
Are those pastas?
Those are nice.
Them's detours, baby.
All right. So the GoPro died on us yesterday, but we never did get it to idle up. We think the rack's stuck in the pump. According to the manual we found, if we take his cover off, we can access the rack. So let's see what happens.
A new oak leaf or something.
It's not. Oh yeah, there she is, boys. They don't seem to be stuck. We ended up taking the top of the pump apart and determined that the rack was free. We didn't have no issues inside there. So we're back out here at the Dozers, and the rack wasn't stuck. Never could get it to rev up. So we got to thinking, since it was black smoking, maybe it was an air supply issue. We know the intake's clean because, I mean, it's a cast piece and there's nothing under there. We've had it off. But we checked the exhaust. So we just come back out and checked the exhaust. And we got a dead bird and some pretty stopped up stuff going on. How crazy. Wow. So maybe that's got something to do with it. Oh, shit. Bigger than a 9/16, you said.
Yep. So I guess a 10/16.
Yeah, I'd say that's what it is.
No, I guess a muffler is straight there.
Yeah. You ever had? We've had a stopped up muffler before though, and they do some weird stuff.
Did you get your 10/16 on there?
I did. Oh, that one's a different size. You know, we're the only idiots that would buy something like this.
No.
Now we got to come back out and figure out what the frick's leaking or hydraulic oil out the bottom. There's no way that's the problem. I mean, just... Oh, bro, they was a whole family of those in there. Little birdie. I wonder if there was a family of birds in it when we fired it up and it killed them. Goodness. Bro. Golly. How many have we counted so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12 up on top of the Dozer up there. Goodness. She free?
I believe so.
Alright. See if we can figure out how to hook the batteries up. We ain't never done this. It's always been Casey. We ain't got Casey with us today. I'm gonna have to make a phone call. This old garden hose over here is negative. And this thing's a 24-volt system, so that's there, that's there. And he said they gotta be in the same way. Goes in here like this. It goes like that. And then it goes like that.
lever there is.
Yeah, she's a little cranky. Wow. So it still didn't really rev up. So strange. So many issues we find and it still's not any better. Bro. The turbo's like kind of hanky, like it don't want to spin.
Yeah, we're spinning there.
Yeah, it's got a tight spot in it. We have theorized that these up pipes have got to be stopped up. We then came back out on site a different day and took the manifold completely off, took the up pipes off, and took the exhaust housing off the turbo. And when we took the exhaust housing off the turbo, that's when we found some issues.
I bought one the other day.
A welder?
Yeah.
I wonder if you're going to be able to get that bolt out.
I don't know. Hopefully. Tyler said it too because he got all defensive about it.
I was like, I mean, you're not wrong.
Oh my gosh. Thought maybe I'd get it spin, but I ain't quite strong enough.
You need that little mini sledge.
Ooh. Oh, baby.
Casey was right.
That's when we found that the vanes on the turbo were melted, or the turbine blades, whatever you want to call it. They were melted. The turbo seemed to spin good, but I guess we couldn't get no airflow through them. And they just, I don't know, it was restricting it down for some reason. It was in bad shape. So then that's, at that point we tried to move it, still wouldn't move even revved up. We noticed that it was pretty low on transmission fluid, put about 10 gallons of transmission fluid in it, and noticed it was just pumping it straight out the bottom of the transmission, or out the bell housing actually. We had crawled under it and there's a hole in the bottom of the bell housing.
You should be all over it where you're heading.
I think I know where it's coming from. We did some research. That's when we found out that this Dozer has what's called a wet torque converter, and we had never heard of that before. We're not equipment people by any means. We had never heard of that. The starters have gaskets on them and all kinds of stuff, and so that the torque converter can stay cool, it fills the bell housing up with transmission fluid to keep the converter cool. So we figured that was probably an issue. So we ended up putting a plug back in the bottom of the bell housing, put like 30 or 40 gallons of fluid in the thing because it holds like 50 or 55 gallons.
Did you say he's going back to running equipment?
He is running equipment right now.
Because I didn't know what he was doing, but I knew he was doing some teaching at Northeast not too long ago, like a couple years ago.
Well, the Dozer has developed a nasty leak. It's not an exhaust leak either. And at this point we just want to see if it'll move, to see if we can get it loaded on a trailer to get it to Casey's house. So
you reckon this thing needs? The whole bucket? Or?
At least half the bucket before you check it again.
Okay.
He's trying to find a good way to get a hold of that bucket. And we put a lot in it. And then at that point, that's when we did eventually get it to move. And then